Number 11.
Mario Tennis Power Tour. Ah, the glory days. Remember at the beginning how I was talking about companies really have to keep you interested in their game? Unlike today. Well, Mario Tennis Power Tour is the prime example of that. With a relatively recent release, it's about a year old now, of Mario Tennis on the 3DS, I deeply missed Camelot's great handheld versions of the game. While Mario Tennis hasn't really changed on the consoles, the handheld had an amazing run before whatever crap it is now. Back when the Game Boy Color was prominent, the one Mario game I remember wasn't Mario Advance or any of his platformers, but Mario Tennis, where a young boy named Alex had to fight his way up the tennis ranks bit by bit to the major tournaments to eventually be invited to play against the best of the best, Mario and his gang. You could accomplish this in both singles and doubles, which made the game that much more fun to fight your way through. Even though each match was long, it was always rewarding when you pulled off that win. Mario Tennis Power Tour didn't have the complete devotion of the original, but it was still a really good game. This time, the gender you didn't choose at the beginning of the game became your doubles partner. And in similar fashion, you trained yourself up and fought through the ranks in both singles and doubles to the top, and get invited to play against Mario and his friends. It might have seemed silly, but that kind of struggle to the top really kept me engaged. The minigames and tennis system had taken a small downturn, so it was easier now to play. But God, it's still fun to get that service ace when you really needed it. And I mean, maybe people will say this game doesn't deserve a number 11 spot, but as you can tell, the game left a deep impression on me, and I really love it even now. I mean, I only hope that Mario Tennis will return to that amazing single-player experience it had. I mean, multiplayer is all fine and good, but I like it when both can be included in the same package.
Yeah. Number 10. Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town.
The days. You know those days, Rickard? The days when you really feel like nothing better than kicking back and enjoying yourself. Maybe do a little exploring, little farming, little caring for animals.
No.
Oh, and you'll no doubt head to town and charm your neighbors and multiple love interests with your amazing skills. I'm of course talking about the farming and dating simulator Harvest Moon, not your everyday life.
Yeah, because I don't think that in my everyday life I can set fire to things by touching them.
Developed by Marvelous Interactive and published by Natsume, the Harvest Moon series was among the first titles to appear back in the days of the SNES. Since then, it's been a staple that at least one Harvest Moon game be released per system. In fact, the series' premise is so popular, it's had 2 spin-offs, one of which has become a series in its own right. For the Game Boy Advance, I gotta say, it felt like they perfected the game. Friends of Mineral Town, more Friends of Mineral Towns, if you wanted to play as the female farmer, had the perfect blend of farming, ranching, and relationship building to keep it engaging for hours at a time. The reason it isn't higher is mostly because that's all there is to the game. You build a farm, keep it going, woo a girl, get married, have a kid. It's as close to a life simulator as you get, because of it, it can suffer from dragging if you need to get more income. Oftentimes, the entire first year can be spent just trying to get decently friendly with people while restoring the farm and getting a steady supply of new animals to up your earnings so you can afford those upgrades. And to be fair, by the end of that first year, you usually want to have all your animals set because then your animals will just pay for them for everything because you don't even really need to keep the crops anymore. I'd be a terrible farmer.
Yeah, you would be.
Anyway, even with that small complaint, the Harvest Moon games are great. And even though I haven't been able to get into another one as strongly as that one, it deserves the number 8 spot. Oh, wait. No, it's number 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
It deserves its number 10 spot.
Oopsie. Number 9, Fire Emblem.
You may notice I'm taking a bit more of an active interest as we get higher up on the list. And I apologize if my facts slip somewhat because of it. However, I think Fire Emblem is the best representation for an SRPG there is. With interesting and engaging characters, support dialogue for different and unique endings, and long and well-done campaigns that may make me vent frustration on occasion when I get sniped by magic over halfway across the map, but makes it all the more worthwhile when I shove that sword in that enemy's gut. Fire Emblem got its start in 1990 on the family computer by Developed Intelligent Systems and creator Shozu Kaga. However, the Fire Emblem series did not hit its stride until Fire Emblem Blazing Sword, the 7th game to be released, and the first game in the series to be seen in other countries in 2003.
Believe me, I was actually rather surprised. I did not know the series existed until Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
The 13-year wait was going to need to prove itself to be exceptional. And in my opinion, it delivered perfectly. The thing that struck home about Fire Emblem more than, say, Final Fantasy Tactics, which I talked about earlier on the list, was that each character in the army had their own unique skills, personalities, and dialogues with the various other characters. So you really began to go out of your way to make sure they survived, even if it meant restarting the mission 12 times.
Oh, God.
Seeing those efforts come to fruition in the end credits was also a treat. Though they didn't happen for every single pair, and it does make it suffer slightly, but only just a bit, because they kept improving, especially if you compare it to, say, what they have today with Fire Emblem Awakening. They constantly are learning and adding new things.
Yes.
The one knock against this game is it is a linear story path. There's no way to level up on the side. So if you wanted to promote that mage before fighting that boss that easily kills him, well, you're just out of luck. It also doesn't help that I'm a complete sucker for the tactician in this story, and desperately wished he had support conversations of his own. Oh well, I guess I'll just settle for fanfiction. Not really. I'll settle for Awakening now. Either way, Fire Emblem gets the number 8 spot. 9 spot. God, I keep doing that!
You have a fascination with the number 8.
Shining Force. Shining Force is a game exclusively picked for this list by Rickard.
Hi.
And also his highest placed game on the list.
Hi.
I myself have played this game a small amount, but nowhere near enough to give you good details. So I'll leave that to him. I'll just give you a couple of facts. A remake from the 1992 release onto the Genesis console, Shining Force is another SRPG that has a solid combat system and no random characters. However, unlike Fire Emblem, a great deal of them become like recruitable soldiers once they join your army, not having as much or as interesting things to say. This is a small flaw, however, as I will turn over to Rickard for his spiel on the story and gameplay.
Ah, yes. Full nostalgia goggles here. Unlike most people I know of, I grew up as a Sega Genesis kid with an old NES, and I didn't really enjoy SNES games until the age of the emulator. So while people had Fire Emblem and Chrono Trigger and Super Mario RPG and the like, I had Shining Force and Phantasy Star, but that didn't get a GBA remake. As Will said, this is a remake of the second game in the Shining series, and offers a slightly different experience from the original game. For example, the hero is no longer a heroic mime and has dialogue for like 50 to 70% of the story. Another change was a slight mimicking of Fire Emblem, in which you can talk with all of your different party members and learn their stories, culminating into the one you have the best relationship having unique dialogue at the end of the game.
Wow.
Speaking of stories, this is one of the tried and true formula of the ancients being jerks and getting a little too big on their britches, so they decide to screw with nature and create a supposedly unstoppable force known as the Dark Dragon. An evil being with no soul and thus no conscience. Since as soon as it was completed, it started blowing stuff up, they had to figure out a way to seal their supposedly unstoppable and immortal creation away for all time, or until someone could figure out how to kill it. Considering it blew them back to the Iron Age, I don't think they really succeeded at that, nor will they figure out how to kill it anytime soon. Anyway, the game starts with a young swordsman named Max getting trained by his teacher, an old centaur knight whom I cannot remember the name of for the life of me, nor will I look up, because besides being the motivation of one of the recruitable characters, he doesn't really figure into the plot.
Oh, okay.
Max and some friends are kicked into the beginning of the plot to check out some old ruins that some evil dudes from the Runefast army are mucking about in, so they could find some ancient place of some importance.
Importance!
After you kill them and make your way back into town, you'll find out it's been sacked and all the unimportant peoples pretty much killed or injured. And of course, your centaur mentor dies.
Good job.
After that, you go on a whirlwind adventure, eventually finding the main character's brother, who of course dies, and then stopping the big bad. Even if the plot is basic, you should still experience it yourself. It's actually still surprisingly good.
Alright.
Moving on to gameplay, if you've played Fire Emblem or Advanced Wars, this will seem pretty basic to you. You have close range magic and range attacks you can do to enemies, but unlike other games, there is no real weapons or magic triangles to take advantage of. Attack is attack, and the only thing you should make a strategy for is just to gang up on things and kill them before they kill you. Since it's such a basic game, I can't really see it getting a higher rating than it does, even though it's still a really good game. But still, I suggest picking it up to play it, even if only to look into the past and see how great it was.
So overall, we decided it would be a good number 8. And this time it really is number 8!